Alright, what's up everybody? I just wanted to do a quick little introduction for this next episode that this clip is going to go in front of. So what you're going to see in this particular episode, as you can tell, I'm actually in the same location and I am on night vision now because I am sitting in the dark, at least to the best of my ability. So anyways, what you're going to see in this particular episode is basically kind of a mashing together of what I could salvage in terms of editing. The video itself, there were actually quite a bit of problems, specifically with the audio. After we recorded it, there was a lot of floating audio issues. So some of the audio might not be perfect. I tried to sync it up as best I could in editing, but I'm still kind of new to some of the editing process. I've done it before, but not really on the level that I'm trying to do it here. Secondly, I think there are, well, in my own personal view, I think there are some anomalies in the video, and I'm going to, in the comments section, or not comments, in the description of the video, I'm going to try to point those out as best I can. I don't have them right off the top of my head because I want to make sure I'm accurate with the time frame. And then, let's see what else. The video does abruptly start and stop because, like I said, we were having audio issues as I went back over the footage trying to edit it. We missed like the first 45 seconds of audio. Luckily, we managed to catch a good bit of the introduction, so I'm not going to have to redo any of that. But there were at least probably 4.5 minutes or so that I had to cut out at the end, just because it just wasn't salvageable. It was so off, I couldn't figure out anything. I really couldn't make it work. So I think that's the bulk of it. And part of the reason that you're seeing me in black and white right now is because I'm on another public investigation. Got a couple more ideas of stuff that I'm going to try to do tonight by myself. I don't have any guests with me tonight. It's just me. This is another public investigation though, so there are other people in the building, so I am going to keep it limited to what I can do there. But this is also a little bit of a teaser for some upcoming videos as well. So with that, hope you enjoy the discussion between myself and my guest, Mr. Bobby Dizzle.
Guest?
You're the host.
Hell am I talking about? I'm the host.
You're the host.
He's the guest. I'm the host. He's the guest. So before we get started, I want to make it abundantly clear. Because I know, I read stuff on the internet too. I don't know if you read stuff on the internet, but I read stuff on the internet. And I know people take things out of context a lot. So I want to make it abundantly clear, just in case the owners should see this. There have been absolutely zero claims of Bigfoot at Old South Pittsburgh. Absolutely none.
Zero claims.
Zero claims. Zero. Zero, meaning none. So, I just want to make that abundantly clear. Tonight's episode, though, is really just, it's supposed to be a fun conversation. Mm-hmm. So, that's the point of this. So, I am going to turn it over to him, let him introduce himself, and then I'll give a little bit of context as to what we're talking about and what the point of tonight's discussion is supposed to be. So,
I want to do the Alec Baldwin thing. With sweaty balls. No, man, I'm Bobby Dizzle, host of the Caffeinated Cryptid podcast with Bobby Dizzle. It's 70-30, Bigfoot to other paranormals. of the paranormal aspects because I think Bigfoot is paranormal, even though some may not. And I don't know if I don't know how long you podcast. If you talk about the same subject a lot, you need some sorbet to clean your mouth.
Okay.
And even though if you love a subject, you could be like, I'm tired of talking about this. I said, this tastes like cold gravy in my mouth.
I can understand that.
And so that's why I've got Psychics coming up soon. And all of October, I just did only Ghost.
Oh, okay.
Hardly got any views on those.
Oh, really?
But I liked it. I had a good time. I was like, yes. That was when I had Waverly Hills guy. I had Alan Searcy. He's the Tennessee Hauntings author. And Searcy's a good guy. But then I went to that paranormal con, so I was kind of gearing up for that.
Oh, okay.
Because all my guests in October were in that convention.
Okay,
That's
cool.
why I did that.
Okay, so, all right, so the point of tonight's discussion, one or topic point, I don't know how you want to describe it, but one of your videos that I watched basically presented this idea of Bigfoot as a supernatural or a paranormal figure. I have never thought of that.
Really?
I've never even considered that idea before.
It's a big
And, you know, one of the things that I'm wanting to do with this podcast is investigate this idea of shadow figures, you know, because that's one thing that I'm definitely interested in.
Yeah.
And that's the goal of what I'm trying to do is find, you know, better evidence, maybe not necessarily better evidence, but solid evidence, and trying to really understand the phenomena of shadow figures more. So, like I said in the email, take me to school on this topic. Explain as best you can.
Oh, the Bigfoot paranormal thing?
Yes, the Bigfoot paranormal thing.
Well, you know, what's the first thing anybody ever says about the Bigfoot thing?
I mean...
What's the first thing? Does Bigfoot exist? What's the first thing everybody always says?
Typically, no.
They say, where's the bodies?
Oh, okay.
That too. That too.
I'm horrible at guessing stuff like that. So.
The fun part about it is, like, I started off like I was like, it's not real. I just want to talk about it because I've always liked the subject because I used to get ghost books.
Okay.
And Bigfoot was in one of the books I bought at the book fair.
Okay.
I mean, if you're 40, you remember the book fair.
Yeah. Oh, and I totally remember the book
And
fair.
it was called The Scariest Stories You've Ever Heard.
Okay.
And it was like 3 parts, and they all had like 6, 7. They all had the hook. You remember the hook on the teenager's car?
Yeah. The urban legends.
Yeah,
kind of
it was
stuff.
those.
Yeah.
And the calls coming from inside the house. It was those scary. And the Sasquatch was one of them. And this was the year of our Lord, like 1993.
Okay.
When I got first time I did that, and then I'm basically telling you why I like the Bigfoot subject, just in case I lost track.
No, that's totally fine.
Yeah, and then I got to reading that book. I got obsessed with it. I'm like, this is the coolest story ever.
Okay.
And then one Sunday, me and my mama were walking in the woods, and we heard this sound. It sounded like the Langoliers coming through the woods.
Okay.
And because we went hiking every Sunday after Sunday dinner, because she said I got too hyper, I need to walk it off. And that was like her cross to bear was my hyper ass. But we heard. And if your viewers ever seen The Langoliers by Stephen King.
I am very familiar with that movie.
So that whole movie here.
Yeah.
It was that sound for 15 minutes, it seemed like. It could have been 3. I was 9 years old.
Okay.
Or 10. It was right after Jurassic Park came out. And I heard, you'd hear it. It sounded like something was crashing through the woods at this enormous speed.
Okay.
And my mama was like, sounds like Bigfoot's coming, just joking. And within a few minutes, 100 deer came through the woods in a pile.
Really?
I'm talking deer went everywhere. And we still talk about it. She's 80-something years old, but we still talk about it. And it just stuck in my mind. It wasn't Bigfoot, it was deer. We saw it. But just that particular section at that time that it happened, it kind of solidified the fascination with it.
Okay.
Because we were walking talking about it because it was my little kick that week. You know how 10-year-olds get on kicks?
Yeah.
That was my 3-week kick. And then it just went forward, and then fast forward to college, I sat next to this guy named Shane, who was going to be he was an ex-sock, Fort Payne. Sock capital of the world. He was a
sock capital?
You ever heard of that, Fort Payne? Yeah, the sock capital of the world.
Okay.
He was laid off from a sock factory, going to be a teacher. He's like 40 years old. I'm 19. It's 18, drunk all day in junior college. Tells me about a preacher that saw a Bigfoot in Mentone.
Okay.
And that just kind of solidified. Anytime I hear about it, Rick and Bubba talk about it all the time.
Okay.
Any kind of story.
I'm familiar with them.
Yeah, any kind of story. Rick and Bubba is one of my biggest inspirations.
Okay.
Like top 3.
Okay. So you've had that base knowledge to it. So where was that? How did it connect to paranormal for you?
Well, Rick and Bubba had somebody on years ago that called in and said they were paranormal. Everybody just thought it was stupid. I'm like, that does make sense if they were paranormal and you couldn't see them because they disappeared somehow.
Exactly. Like that's after watching your video, that's one like I said, it kind of opened up the idea for me because I was like, that would explain why nobody can see them.
Yeah, I just said it would make a good.
Very few.
I'm thinking it could make a good explanation, but I gave it no thought. I didn't think Bigfoot existed.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat.
Yeah,
was. So.
Didn't think. Which one did you watch? Which video did you watch?
I remember it was named Bigfoot Supernatural, I think.
Oh, is Bigfoot Supernatural?
Yeah, is Bigfoot Supernatural, and I can't remember your guys' name to save my life. I'm so sorry.
I think that was one of the newer ones.
Yeah. I think it was a recent one.
Yeah, it sounds like a clip I made too.
That's very possible. I know the episode I watched was, I think it was like an hour and a half, hour 50 minutes long.
Maybe so then. Yeah.
It was the guy, it was some author that you were talking with.
Oh, it was Carter Brushard.
Yeah, I think.
The old guy he had like he was eating cough drops the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carter.
Yeah.
That's not even the best example. I think he's more of he's got a new book coming out.
Okay.
But like I said, Rick and Bubba had that. I'm thinking, well, that's a good explanation. Bigfoot's not real. I still love the subject matter.
Yeah.
And then I just go for anything that came out on Bigfoot I would listen to. And then I talked to Randy from Minnesota. He's the first one. And he's the first one. When I talked to him, I was like, this stuff's real. And I had like a little paradigm shift.
Okay.
And I would talk to him on the phone. He goes, these things are real, man. These things are real. I'm not drugged out or nothing.
Yeah.
And he went on to say, I saw one come out of a portal.
Okay.
And I've talked to him several times about it. And I've talked to the people that were with him that said they saw it. And it was then there's a documentary called Searching for Sasquatch 10, The Minnesota Roars.
Is that the one that you sent me the other day?
Probably.
Okay, because the one on Tubi, I think it is. Okay. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but it is on my list to watch.
That's the same guy that was on my show called Living with Sasquatch in Minnesota.
Okay.
He got almost the same story. So, it's the same guy. Of course, he's got the same story.
Yeah.
But he said it was like an elevator door. Let me make sure you can see me in the elevator door there. That's still going?
Yeah, it's still going. Let me. You keep talking.
I'm a podcaster too, so I'm quality control over here.
Yep, we're at 10 minutes. Oh, the screensaver turned on at 10 minutes.
Well, he said it was an elevator door in the woods opened up with shimmering lights like the northern lights open. 2 orbs float out. They get close to a gifting area, the peanut butter and the apples.
Okay.
And he starts hearing crunching. The crunching turns into Bigfoot. The Bigfoot get the apples and the peanut butter, and they go back to their orbs and float away and get back into the portal.
The portal. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it sounds crazy if I didn't hear the same thing over and over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be 100% honest with you, that it does.
It sounds
to me.
nuts.
It sounds a little nuts.
But then you hear somebody else say the same stuff. They saw, orbs in who's the guy? Daryl Denton said he saw an orb coming through the woods, floating around. I think he said orange. I could get, and it stopped and went to the ground. And it turned into a possum.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff.
Okay, that's definitely a head scratcher there.
But like it's what's the word? The mind speak. There's mind speak. There's infrasound. Just like ghosts that drain your batteries.
Oh, you mean telepathy?
Thing? That too. Mind speak telepathy. They put stuff in your mind, but they also make you like really sick.
Okay.
And if you get too close to their clan while you're walking in the woods, like if they got a baby or whatever, they'll make you sick, make you where you can't breathe, they give you a bad headache.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's like Skinwalker Ranch stuff. It's basically everything they do on Skinwalker Ranch is what you hear from the Bigfoot people.
Okay, I've heard of Skinwalker Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen any of the documentaries or anything on it, but I know I'm familiar with that topic.
Yeah, if you watch the show Skinwalker Ranch, I think it's on its 4th season. All the stuff like the phenomenon and the stuff that happens to them, it's like the same stuff the Bigfoot people say.
Okay, so it's this consistency of evidence across the board.
To me, it's all like everybody says there's no evidence. I'm like, well, everybody says the same thing.
Yeah.
And eventually, it's got to be count for something. Like it's got to be like where there's smoke, there's fire at least.
Yeah, and see, I can agree with you on that point because that is one thing, just in some of my own research and my personal life, I look into a lot of philosophy and a lot of psychology and things like that, and I am, at least for myself, I am willing to accept personal stories as a form of evidence. Granted, I can't necessarily take it to the bank.
Yeah, you can't do anything with it.
I can't really do anything with it, but I am willing to accept, okay, this is what you experienced.
Yeah.
That, because that, in my mind, that feels like just, general human decency.
Yeah.
I may not believe you, or I may not, that's not the right word. I may not necessarily, it may take me a second to go, okay, to kind of wrap my head around it, I guess would be the right word there. But I'm at least willing to, okay, you seem sincere. This seems like something that really happened to you. Okay, I'll take it as that,
Let me tell you what makes it really funny is the people I won't talk to much anymore are UFO abductees.
Really?
And a lot of alien people. I still got a few of those that I keep around.
Okay.
I used to reach out for them in the groups, but those people have childhood trauma that they're hiding up. That's repressed memories they're dealing with.
Okay.
And when I finally realized that, I'm like, I'm exploiting these people.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I gotta quit. And only if somebody's recommended do I do it now.
Okay.
Because I had one guy, he's like, yeah, I can't say bad stuff on here, I guess. He was like, I was raped as a child, and that's when I started seeing it. I'm like, what?
Oh. Yeah, I could definitely see the trauma there. That I can. That's an interesting point actually, because there's one of the things that I have come across. I don't know if you've come across the work of a man by the name of Joe Jordan. It's right under your foot, by the way.
Asbestos on it now.
There's a man by the name of Joe Jordan. Not sure if he's still alive or not.
I've heard that name.
But he did a lot of he ran the CE4 research website because that's specifically what he was looking into.
Oh yeah, the abductees.
Yeah. That's what he was looking into, and his whole view on it was that it was more like he started as a MUFON investigator, I believe, the Mutual UFO Network. He started as an investigator for that, and then he said after he somehow came across an abduction story one day, I think, or he was talking to somebody as a part of his job or whatever, and he said that he came across a person who was able to stop a abduction in the process of it, and he connects it to a lot of the religious angle to it. He does operate under the view that a lot of what the abduction stories are is demons.
Demonic.
Effectively, it's demonic in nature, and that's how. Because the story that he heard was, this person was a new convert to Christianity, and it started happening while they were laying in bed, and she said she was just like, I'm just gonna sit here and pray, and next thing she knows, she's back in her bed and it's done, and she was like, ever since then, when this starts coming on, I just start doing that, and it goes away.
I heard you can rebuke them like that.
Do I?
I heard you can rebuke them like that. Abductees.
Okay, and that's in my mind that's interesting research, but that's off the topic of Bigfoot, I guess.
I think it's all related.
I can see that. I do think there is a certain relationship here.
That's why I don't say I have a Bigfoot podcast.
Okay.
Even though it kind of works its way out that way because that's what the algorithm likes.
Yeah.
Now you have to feed the algorithm.
Yeah.
You have to give the beast what it wants.
You got to get it out there somehow.
I found out that if you put a state and the word Bigfoot on the thumbnail, you get views no matter what's in the thing. And that's why it's Tennessee Bigfoot, Minnesota Bigfoot.
I saw that.
It gets it. I study everything. I am the money ball. I'm going to be successful at podcasting like Brad Pitt was successful at Moneyball. I'm never going to win an Emmy. I'm never going to win a Grammy, but I'm going to be really successful at it.
Okay.
I'm going to get to the worlds. I'm going to get to the playoffs. I'm going to lose. Because some
So
chick with giant jugs that talks about her TikTok account's going to beat me. But I'm going to get up. I'm going to be noticed.
Yeah.
Because I'm very analytical.
Yeah. Well, that is definitely what is needed these days. I feel like that the ability to really analyze things much better is in severe lack. Did it just get darker?
I think the light's getting dimmer.
Yeah. I just want to... Real fast while I'm thinking about it. I did want to point out...
Did get dark.
This wall behind me...
We're not in prison.
Yeah, we're not in prison.
I'm broadcasting live from Leavenworth. Looks like we're in a holding cell.
If you watched the previous video, which I haven't, at least at the time of this recording, I haven't posted yet. I'm in the process of editing it. It will be up in the next day. It's not the same background. The last one was recorded in my apartment. We are at Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. We've been on a public investigation this evening, and we had some interesting experiences.
Yeah,
I would say
noting,
so.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it was definitely worth noting. I hands down had the best experience as far as the EMF meter that we were using.
Yeah.
That's probably some of the best evidence I've ever experienced here. But this is one thing that I'm definitely wanting to try and do is do more on-site stuff like this. But I guess that's off topic.
You know what's crazy? I wasn't scared when it was happening.
Oh yeah,
I was severely interested.
That was I was the same way. Like when I first got the first time I came here, I was petrified. And then once it started to, oh wait a minute, it's not that scary.
We started gathering the little pieces of that. I was like, oh shit, what is this? Let's see. Let's try it over here. It's not there. I'm moving her. I'm just picturing this kid in the chair. I'm moving him.
Yeah.
I picked up a chair.
I can totally see it.
I picked up a chair with the active K2 on it, just moved it around the room.
Yeah, and I guess it might be helpful for me to explain the.
I got pictures of it.
Evidence. Yeah, he did get a couple pictures of it, but we basically what was going on was part of the method that I was taught as far as ghost hunting goes. Like I mentioned in the previous one on my birthday. No card in. Okay, it's not. Anyways,
I love this is raw podcast.
Oh yeah, this is 100% raw.
Freaking loving this.
I'm half asleep as well. But anyway, so the actual experience we had was I was walking around with the K2 and random spike of EMF went off. It was a pretty solid two lights. And then, I checked a couple places. It didn't vary. But when I moved it away from this chair, this little area, it went away. As I got closer to the main room, it was on the third floor. I think it was the third operating room.
Yeah,
I think that's
on the very end.
Yeah, on the very end, close to the stairs. But, so we had that. We sat it down in the chair, and then, I started trying to talk and, hey, we're here.
Glowing.
Yeah. And it started growing. It got up to at least halfway. There's only 5 lights on it and 3 of them were lit up. And then, there were a couple other people who showed up because, like I said, we're in a public investigation. And as soon as other people showed up, it just disappeared.
It went nowhere. You couldn't get anywhere.
Yeah, could not find it anywhere else. Have not found it anywhere else over the course of the evening. It just disappeared. And like I said, that was hands down as far as what I've experienced here. That was the most solid experience I've had.
It felt like we were doing a controlled experiment.
It did. It really, really did.
Accidentally controlled.
I tried to pull out the REM pod, see if maybe we could get a little bit of trying to go back and forth there, but didn't get anything out of that.
It acted like it was trying to get energy to do it, but it couldn't get all the way.
It did.
It couldn't get over the top.
Yes, it definitely acted like it was trying to amass whatever energy it could to just do the little bit that it was doing. But yeah, so that was definitely an interesting
The
experience.
fact that we backed away from it and it got stronger.
Yes. Yes. That was
You're like, it's hard. Come on, push. It's like you feel like John Hammond on drive. Push. Come on, Nico. Push. Come on, very good. Sir Richard Attenborough. Yeah, it started like, I was like, holy shit, this is happening. And all of a sudden it stopped.
Yeah.
And nothing happened. You couldn't.
Yeah, it just disappeared. 100% disappeared. So let me turn this back on real fast.
Then we did this light as a feather, stiff as a board game. That was hard. No, why do you call it that? The human pendulum.
Yes, the human pendulum. We did that.
I'll post that to my YouTube and tag him in it. That'll be fun.
Yeah, we can make sure you get the videos.
We all did that.
That was my first time doing the human pendulum.
Mm-hmm.
I'd looked into it a little bit before, and I was definitely skeptical of it, before doing it. I still feel like I'm a little bit skeptical, but at the same time, I mean, that's part of what I'm doing this for. I'm trying to, as the previous guest talked about, is, an inquiring skeptic.
If for nothing else, it was really fun.
Yeah, if nothing else, we had a blast.
It was a comic interlude to beat the band. I would have paid $50 to do that.
Oh yeah,
I'd have paid $50 to do that for 2 hours.
Yeah,
in Gatlinburg or something.
It was definitely a fun, enjoyable time.
Because JB was like Roastmaster JB. she was like the MC of a comedy club. I thought, what is happening right now?
Yeah,
I'm in a death-filled hospital laughing my ass off.
And then we also did the Estes method. We did that over in the body cooler, or the body box.
And it said 14 people in this room, and there were 14 people there. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Now, granted, from what I understand, very little else lined up.
There was when you said 5 people leave, 5 people just left.
Oh.
There was a couple of them, but it was the people in the room started getting chatty Cathy having a conversation. And it was just,
that does happen.
They were just they were laughing. It was fun. Yeah. Somebody talked about Taylor Swift for 20 minutes. I'm like, come on now.
Yeah, and meanwhile, when you're under, you got the blindfold on and the headphones on, I could hear him a little bit because you were like 5 feet away from me or something like
just
that.
Having to broadcast the.
Yeah, trying to help out with what I was saying, so they could hear it. But that was literally all I could hear. I couldn't hear anything else after that. And it was
asking what year it was, and you say 60.
60.
And then you said 1963.
Huh.
We were like asking if you knew JFK. We asked who killed Kennedy. You said absolutely not. Or something like that.
Oh, that could be. I mean, you never know. You kind of. Did it? No, it's still important. Yeah, the camera. Okay. Camera's doing weird stuff.
What are we talking about?
Again, we are in a haunted hospital.
Yeah, I mean.
So for all I know,
if this makes it somehow a valid uncorrupt file, I'm going to be shocked.
I'm going to be surprised too, to be 100% honest.
I've got this giant North Face on. I look like I weigh 300 pounds.
I'm looking at myself too. I've got to.
It's really freezing. It's literally freezing in here.
Oh yeah,
like we're just bundled up to the max.
It's nice and cold. I needed a better jacket. I didn't even think about it, but we're getting off topic.
I don't even know what we're talking about. Talking about Bigfoot.
Yeah, so back to Bigfoot. Why is
Bigfoot paranormal?
Yes.
To me, it explains it better than it's a hidden monkey.
Okay. Okay. Have you seen it was an episode of, I think it was Destination Truth, the old Josh Gates show.
Oh yeah, that guy.
He did a Yeti episode.
Mm-hmm.
Where he went to, I think it was Nepal. Him and his film crew went to Nepal, and they were doing it, and I think they found like an oversized footprint.
Yeah,
that they did cast.
That's when people talk about a lot, how he had some experiences there.
Yeah, and because he also found hair.
Mm-hmm.
And, they took it back to a primate lab, and the results on the test were, this is an unknown primate.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, in my mind, that's really good evidence.
Mm-hmm. There's also like
Okay, that's the jackery going on.
oh, is it? I thought it was like the.
Yeah,
I thought it was the air pump coming on finally.
Yeah, I'm.
The heat's on finally.
Part of the whole reason why I wanted to do the recording here tonight too was so, double as a little bit of an EVP session.
Yeah. Hey guys, if you want to talk in this and say things, you can.
Yeah, if there's anybody here who wants to talk, you're
Miss Nora,
more than welcome to.
Miss Nora, you can pour out your soliloquy right here.
Peter,
John, please refrain. It's a family show.
Yes.
All right.
Stay away, John.
Miss Nora's
please.
here. You be respectful.
And Peter, I feel bad for what happened, but you're welcome to talk too. Just don't.
That'd be pretty wild.
Don't make anyone depressed, please.
Poor Peter.
So yeah, it was kind of sad. That was the human pendulum experiment. Apparently, the person that came through when I was in the middle was a guy named Peter, who was a greaser, who died in the 50s. I think.
I don't really know what he said.
I can't remember
really
what time frame he
part.
said he died in.
He said he wasn't in the 50s, but he was a greaser.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means.
I don't understand it either.
He was an old greaser.
But he supposedly died of suicide.
Like Tommy Chong.
Yeah. Because he wasn't making enough to support his family or something like that.
His wife
I
left
can't
him.
remember. Yeah, his wife left him because he was living at their parents' house or something. It was hard to keep it all straight.
The one before was 45 minutes.
Oh yeah, the one before was hysterical. That's Miss Nora. She doesn't like white men.
90-year-old black woman from Mississippi that doesn't like white guys. She was in the EMS session saying, "I hate white people."
Yeah. And the guy who was in her pendulum experiment was a 6-foot white dude.
Yeah, cop nonetheless.
So, like I told him in the middle of it, life is not without a sense of irony.
Oh yeah.
So
you get to come back and talk to people. What's a 6-foot cop?
Like in the exact body that you did not want to be in.
Exact opposite profession.
Exactly. And they even asked her what why she like was what happened that caused her to not like white people. I just don't like them.
Nothing. You hate white people?
Yeah, I just don't like them. So hey, it is what it is. That's how I look at it. So anyway, so what are we? Okay, we're right at the 30-minute mark.
Oh yeah.
So we're doing good. So back to the topic of Bigfoot.
So I like the. Oh, hey.
There's the 30-minute timer. So stop. Okay.
I was like I say, I will take any explanation that says Bigfoot is real, and I'm okay. I'm not married to anything. I like the woo because it's fun.
Okay, I can understand.
Yeah,
that.
I don't have to believe it's like a cinematic universe to me.
Yeah.
So, but I entertain how it could be a hidden animal all this time, and without being wooish.
Okay.
Because tigers do infrasound, which they do it to prey to slow them down.
Okay.
And here's like the 101 for what you'll hear when you get into this Bigfoot thing. The cave systems all line up with Bigfoot sightings in the whole country.
Okay.
And you can look it up on Google, cave system Bigfoot sightings. It runs up the Appalachians. It runs up to Appalachians. It runs up toward the Midwest. It skips the Great Plains. There's hardly any Bigfoot sightings in the Great Plains.
Okay.
And it runs up the Rockies.
Okay, so it's typically in mountainous areas.
Well, the cave systems do.
Okay.
You take the Bigfoot sightings, they do the same thing. They overlay.
Okay.
The third part of that puzzle, there's a third thing that overlays. That's all the missing persons in the world. They overlay all three of those.
Really?
All three of those overlay like some kind of devil's overhead projector. If you had them on a transparency, yeah.
Interesting.
Google that, yeah. David Pilates.
I'm gonna have to look into.
Look at David Pilates' Missing 411, Missing 411 The Hunted.
Okay.
And Missing 411 The UFO Connection. It'll change your life.
Huh.
Yep.
Okay, that's definitely a interesting idea. I'm gonna have to look into that.
But at the same time, how did they get to the cave so fast? Like we even found like tunnels where you can just jump in and fireman pole to a cave. You got to crawl, which tells me that maybe their fourth dimension isn't as fourth. Maybe is the word. Maybe they don't go like to another world like a demon would or like angel wood.
Yeah.
Maybe they can no clip if they're in the cave.
Okay.
I
can.
And maybe the caves that we can find, like the Mammoth Cave and everything, all the kind we crawl to. Maybe that's like the beach of caves. It could be like an ocean of caves below it, like another world.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. That's one of my favorite shows. Actually, is the.
Monarch.
Do I?
That's what you're gonna say, Monarch?
Oh no! Not Monarch. One of my favorite shows is the Oak Island show.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you ever watched that show, but they're finding a lot of underground caves and what they're doing. So that's interesting.
You find an above ground cave.
Interesting idea. Find an above ground cave.
Above ground cave.
Okay. I see your point now. That's good.
Oh yeah, but I don't know, because the cave thing that's a huge factor as you look at those graphs.
Yeah.
And
I never even thought of that. I never even thought of
missing persons, cave systems, Bigfoot sighting. Same place, same areas.
That's definitely. I'm gonna have to follow up.
You're gonna freak out.
I'm gonna, as I edit it and stuff like that. I make notes and like, all right, I need to follow up on this. I need to look into that. Yada yada yada.
So the big thing with Bigfoot is they do tree knocks too, as like communication. Sounds like somebody hit a Louisville Slugger to a sycamore.
Really?
That's what people always send you. And there'll be one over here 100 yards and over there 100 yards. Sometimes it'll go.
Huh.
And some people think some people like they get out there and they do it themselves with a stick. That's how they go out there and they go whoop.
Yeah. Okay. So would you think then that based on what you've kind of laid out for me and your own look into it, would you think that Bigfoot is like, would it become physical or would it stay, I guess, paranormal?
Let me finish the tree knock statement. Some people think that's how they communicate, by hitting stuff on trees.
Yeah.
Some people surmise that they may use it as echolocation. They may be doing it with their mouth. Like a.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's one way where the tree knock thing could be 100% biological.
Okay.
But as far as what you're saying, if I had to put my money on from what I've heard from everybody in my collective guests, which I got like 150 episodes.
Yeah, he's got a lot out there. You really need to go look. You really need to go check it out.
I got some good people in there. I mean, God. Like, how did that guy? What's that guy doing?
I've seen your last few live ones that you've done. They're interesting. They're interesting.
If I had to put my money on it, I would say when they're here, they're family. No, not like Olive Garden. But when they're here, they're flesh and blood something. They have organs. They poop.
Okay.
They Bigfoot around. They have weight. Because they leave footprints.
Yeah.
I mean that's obviously a big thing. But
okay, so you do think they materialize at some point?
When they're here, they can do. They're something.
Okay.
I even thought one time maybe they're an alien in a biological suit.
Okay.
And that's what
I can see that.
Yeah.
So would a fair assertion be maybe a shapeshifter of sorts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely, it's possible. Because what's his name? His name is Jason McLean. He's an author, comic book author, and also a researcher. He has taken the ancient Irish European legends of the Fae.
I'm still listening.
No, he takes the legends of the Fae, the fairies.
Okay.
And they're the exact same as the Bigfoot thing.
Really?
The stories they tell about them.
And what's his name again?
Jason McLean.
Jason McLean. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into him.
But he started breaking it. I haven't aired that episode yet either. But he started breaking down the comparisons. He's like, man, he goes, something similar there.
Yeah.
Maybe they're two peas in a pod they do the same. Their breed of magic.
Yeah.
is the same, and that's why they do the same thing. Or maybe that's what they are, because you get orbs with Bigfoot. A lot of people say orbs. Yeah. The only people that don't see supernatural stuff with Bigfoot are the people that got campsite experience.
Okay.
As they're in the woods, they get rocks thrown at them, and see red eyes, and they find like they get rocks thrown at them. Like I said, they see red eyes. They trash rummage through, and they find the print the next morning.
Okay.
And that wasn't supernatural. Well, you only saw it for a second.
Yeah. Well, I could see that as being one of those. I mean, it could have been supernatural. It could have not been.
I mean, it was just your experience.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that was one thing I was kind of talking about with my last guest, is this idea that, you know, maybe some of this paranormal stuff is really, you know, it's something trying to protect us in a weird way, like get us out of a bad situation kind of thing.
A lot of it is.
So, and you know, that could, I don't know exactly how in a camping experience that could be, other than, you know, maybe an animal or something like that.
The guys I've talked to that actually research and can scout Bigfoot, they say the way to do it is not go hunting for them. You go to a place that may be active, has a history, and you just behave like loud people.
Oh, okay.
You talk, you cook Spam, you go on hikes, you don't look around trying to see a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
You do what you got to do, and you go sit down by your campsite, and you sit around somebody over here, and you kind of look at each other, and out of the peripheral, you'll say things like, on your left, or on your right, and you don't look.
Oh, okay.
And they just come in, and you're their TV, is what they tell me.
Okay. So
they like to watch you. If you're acting like a regular person that's kind of just nonchalant, being loud in the woods, like, what is that? What's he doing?
Okay. That's interesting. I can see that. So, have you seen that recent video of Bigfoot that came out?
Which one? The Colorado?
The one in the desert?
I know the one on the train.
Yeah, the one on the train. I'm pretty sure that's fake.
Oh yeah, he looks like he's wearing khakis.
Oh yeah, that definitely looks like a dude. And
oh God.
Hello?
Hey, it's me.
Oh God. It's a person, thank God.
Yes, we've got another guest coming in.
Thank God it's a human.
Person.
Come join us.
Howdy, person.
We're about to wrap it up anyway.
Yeah, we're...
Just checking bands.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're doing a podcast. I'm gonna wrap it
we're-
up and head on.
We're wrapping up our time here.
Talk about Bigfoot. You got any input?
Just that one that's on the train is pretty cool.
Yeah. He's wearing khakis.
we were just talking about
I
that.
said he's wearing khakis.
Yeah, that's what it could be a guy that got his suit.
Yeah, exactly.
But if it is, who's going to be that far in the middle of nowhere just to do that?
Yeah, well, one thing that I did hear about it is that supposedly the train company,
Yeah.
like they advertised Bigfoot sightings. So it's like,
Yeah, that's it.
It's like you're in Animal Kingdom. You always see a poacher.
yeah.
It's the same thing.
So.
This is gonna be the best podcast ever.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a great episode. I'm looking forward to posting
Yeah.
this one.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
Thank you. So, all right.
Thank God it was a person. Or not. I don't know. Could have been a ghost.
I'm pretty sure it was a person. I'm pretty sure.
We both saw that guy, right?
Pretty sure. I am kind of tired right now.
Can't wait to have some mixed nuts and a Celsius.
Yeah, I got a Red Bull in the car waiting on me. So, all right. Well, I guess unless there's any other point you really you feel like you need to make in this discussion
Well, let me
about
finish.
it.
I think I missed. I get so sidetracked.
Oh, yeah, everybody does.
But-
That's actually part of the point. Of
Okay,
this, you know,
if I had to put all my money on what Bigfoot was right now, when he's here, he's a real thing, but he has abilities to go somewhere to do something. I
okay,
don't know
somewhere else, being something supernatural.
Or somewhere he has abilities to do something special. The guys I talk to that research that aren't woo, they say we don't believe in the woo, but that something happened. It is what it is. And the guy and nobody that habituates with them, has them on their farm and deals with them, thinks they're not supernatural.
Okay.
But the guy from Minnesota walks out every night at 7 and makes a round of his 40 acres, and he'll say, "Guys, hey, it's Randy here." He'll ask them to do him a favor, like lay a stick here, or I got more peanut butter and put it up here, and it'll come back. The jar will disappear, come back lick clean with the lid on it.
Huh.
Dude, it happens. That stuff freaking happens. And they're listening to him talking. He can ask him to do things like, "Hey, Randy here, can you draw? Can you?" So he left a marker board out one time, and they wrote like, I don't know, man. And I get so in the weeds with it. I got to pull myself back out. I'm like, "You don't believe this?" "Yes, I do." "Yes, you do." "No, you don't." I'm just telling you, people either are lying to my face, over and over and over, or something's happening, and it can't be 100% either all the time.
Yeah,
Somebody's saying something.
I would argue, statistically speaking, it's impossible that it's one. It's either all lies or all truth 100% of the time.
That's kind of why I'm here. I'm trying to have a paranormal experience, and I think I did, minus getting touched, but I think I got enough today to call it a win.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would definitely consider tonight a win.
I think if I was going on a Bigfoot trip, I'd think a win would be maybe hearing a tree knock or a whoop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what, I guess, because I did have, you talk about that, it gave me an idea for one last question. So what, in your view, if you were, you've got evidence, you've got, something of evidence that you can bring to people and go, this is evidence of Bigfoot. Because, we've all seen the plaster casts.
Yeah.
We've all seen the shaky footage. We've all seen...
That's what bothers you, shaky footage, man. 'Cause
Because
I think they can fuck up electronics a lot worse than ghosts can.
Okay.
And I think it has a lot to do with it.
Okay, so what then in your mind would be
They tear up trail cams. I mean,
best evidence?
a dead one?
A dead one?
Yeah. There is no other evidence.
Okay.
Only a better evidence than the dead one, a live one.
That actually reminds me of a comedian that I listened to who he had a bit about Bigfoot. He was doing something or whatever. I'm not trying to steal his bit or anything like that, but he was doing a show and he was like, the number one thing I never see on Bigfoot shows, Bigfoot.
Yeah. Never seen Bigfoot. Joe Rogan said, you know what you never see on Bigfoot hunting? Black people.